in this case, this roundtable tries to, if you take a look to the title of the roundtable, the title is How to Create Capacity Building in EU-MPC, because this is a challenge. Our project, Magrenov, is very challenging. That's nice, but then we have to think about how to reach effectively our goals, which is not simple. Okay, the three panelists have been chosen. One of them in Kick Energy, which is one of the partners in Magrenov. The other two intentionally out of Magrenov, so Eros and Med, and with different perspectives. My idea, for me, it was there are two strong partnerships. That's very clear. In your case, it was very interesting to me, Macarena, your concept, to share something about your concept in capacity building and the Agora. In your case, it is very interesting to me particularly, but I want to hear your opinion. Your connections with many research centers, SINTEF, Techniker, etc., CENER, etc. And in the case of Bruno, two benefits. One is that you should know about the energy pathways. That's very important. And then you see how Kick Energy is doing in order to incorporate in all our actions entrepreneurship and innovation. Okay, so now please, it's your time. If you can come here, I don't know if for you it's better. Yeah, if it's better for you to stand or to sit, you should face exactly. You should face the audience. And I ask you if you can address any question to any of the panelists. Okay, about how, according to their experience, how we can proceed in Magrenov in order to reach our objectives of creating education tools, fostering entrepreneurship, and so on. So, please. Yeah.
My question is to Professor Schlaoui. So, as you know, we have a new master's. Now we have accreditation. I just received it last 2 days ago, I think. So this accreditation is a master of renewable energy, and our hope is to have European energy. And we are trying to have in this master, it's in the French language, and we're trying to have some models in English. And my question is, if it's possible, our strategy is that, and you can tell me it's good or not. We will try to have some courses in English, and I think that students coming from bachelor will heard that and will be, and we are trying also to have some with British Council to have some e-learning in English for all the university with a good price, and we hope in 2 years to be partner of master you propose. And of course, we have professor, but having change in practical, we have some problem, as you know. Do you think that it's okay, or we have to change this strategy?
I mean, again, maybe it's here. Each country has its own somehow constraints. I don't think that you can change. You can say I'm going to give all the lectures in English, because first the professors will not agree. I guess this is the first thing that you will have trouble for that. So I mean, still there are always students who are very well skilled in English. So among the students you will have those who will be interested on following or joining this master should know it from the beginning, and then they will make a kind of additional effort to be better skilled in English than the others. Again, it's going to be a competition per definition. So only few students, this is at least how I see it, few students will really benefit of the Eurocen Med if it exists one day of this, because first the funding cannot be done or given to all these students. It will be only selected, and it's also going to be international. So maybe some students from Morocco, but others from Egypt, others from Tunisia. So, and of course the others from Europe. So anyway, there will be a kind of selection. So I don't see a trouble if only part of your students are really well. But if they know that from the beginning, I think if really this is visible for them, if they want to reach this level, then they have to make more effort than the others. This is the life.
But our hope is to have change in the two sense. To have a master, and we can receive European students.
Definitely. I mean, this is the point is that how I see it, at least at this level, is that there are students are at different universities, at University of Strasbourg, whatever, and they are following their semester, and some semesters will be spent, one semester will be spent somewhere. They can spend it if in Morocco, the point is that then the content of the semester should be attractive enough to give somehow the flavor of this for the students to go there. It could be also a semester for training, and this is interesting because we are developing technologies somehow also for the South countries. For instance, CSP, as I said before, concentrated solar power, it has no meaning to install it in Europe. Okay, it will be installed only in the south part of Mediterranean. So, per definition, if you want to really have a real training, a real and efficient training, you have to go to the South countries. So, this is how I see it: win-win situation.
Another question.
As I understand that you, Professor, as the director of the human project, you are facing now facing all these challenges. So I think that as Maghreb project members, we have to think about the solution of all these challenges before researching our strength points, our weak points, and make a plan, academic plan. This is your advice for us.
Yeah, I mean, of course, any help to maybe there are not problems. At least this is the problems, the challenges that which have been discussed among our partners. But indeed, there are some problems which are here, which are important to me at least, that we should think about it. And if Magrinov can help to solve some of those, of course, this is the way to go. But maybe.
Yes, it's I don't remember. Macarena. It's about. But I have been in meeting at our ministry about MedSpring. I understood that we have to pay some fees, yes, and for our university some fees to be member of MedSpring. No, I understand that in this meeting. No, the MedSpring. No. I have the program. No. Yeah, there is MedSpring and Eranet.
Yeah. They are two different projects. MedSpring Consortium was defined at the beginning and during the negotiation. And main is based on the structure of the project is the one that I already explained. Research ministries, research organizations, universities. So it was defined at the beginning. It's an FP7 project, and I don't know if any FP7 project you have to pay a fee to be partnered. I don't think so.
Perhaps it's because they speak in the same day.
In any case, for Eranet, you don't have, because we are partners there too, Eranet Med.
No, we have. I don't remember because I have in a meeting, and this meeting there is some they present Medspring and Eranet. I remember that one of them we have to pay.
No. Neither in Eranet Med. I know it because I'm partner too of that project. And no, the thing is that Eranet is a different concept. It aims at
to launch a call for proposal, and the idea was then to, of course, then to pay, to participate, to launch a joint call for proposals. But it was
but it is not a fee. I mean, you have to be a funding agency to participate there. So
Yes.
in any case, I take the
Only funding agencies were able to be part of it.
exactly. For example, we are partners there. We are not funding agency, so we don't pay anything. But for example, the research ministries, they are paying
So
because they are
ministry
trying
can pay for all universities.
Is the common pot for a common call of projects that will be launched. We hope in this year, but it's a different scheme. And
It was a
Thank you.
confusion last time during this meeting about Medspring, because they told us that we were going to talk about Med, and then the same person who presents the project also presented Eranet. So it was some confusion.
Okay,
That's why
Medspring is an Inconet, Eranet Med is an Eranet, and you have to be a research ministry if you have budget to give for the common goal, and you will give it.
Or agents.
Over funding agency.
we thought it would be maybe a new model from Eurocenmed than to ask about fees.
Yes, we have.
Not the intention.
Quick comment. Okay, you were going to.
I wanted to ask a question, but I can do it later to my colleague.
Okay, I saw that Tunisia is not a member of the.
Who's that?
Tunisia is not a member of the project. So, can we join
Of course,
your project of master?
Yeah, it's open to all Mediterranean countries. There's no blocks, no nothing like that. Why they are not there? Because you cannot have too many partners. It's a FP7 project in the frame of energy coal. Okay, so it's not. It was not CSA whatever. It was really energy coal. So it's research oriented, and the condition was there to have only minimum 2 partners from the South countries. So we have to make a choice.
And $1 million.
I'm sorry.
And $1 million.
Yes. No, but I mean this master is open to. I have already contact with some colleagues from Tunisia, because we are also at this call. There were also another project which we were only 2 who won. The other project is called Real COP, and they have Tunisian partners there, so they are also informed about it, and they are willing to join us. Yes.
But these challenges, are all of them in this master teaching the whole project?
This change concerns the master.
The master, okay.
Yeah.
Because my question is, where is the contribution and the involvement of the industrial part? Because if you want to develop a master, and we are talking about this during, I think this morning, what about the industrial contribution? Are the industrial in each country will contribute to the development of this master program or not?
I mean, no. Our view is that the industries are open for training the students. This is very important. They open their door. He knows that better than I. It's very difficult, really, that some companies open their door Because indeed, I mean, it's gonna be understandable. It's especially when they are at the master degree, they are costing money. They don't bring that much added value to the immediately at least. So it's not that easy. So this is a huge job, and we would like to take the opportunity that we have already some companies in our project to start this. And then serving a kind of best case. But you can probably say more about that because it's the same problem, I mean, when it's at a postdoctoral level.
What about the training of trainers, the formation du formateur? Are you thinking about that? Because in our countries, I think we have some professors in the area, but in general, theoretical background.
Yes.
And I think it is necessary to perform their inquiry and also to do some program for training trainers.
Yes.
And also something about new teaching methods. Do you think develop some MOOCs and then open the master, for example, to massive students by
yes. Yeah, I mean, as you know, because of this,
yes.
It's much more easier to send, let's say, 5 professors to Morocco, Egypt, Tunisia, whatever, and teach for 1 week. And having really 400 or 200 students, then bringing 200 students to Europe. So this is important that this is facilitated this way, and it costs at least less money. And then at least in our project, when I say that we have training of students and researchers, it's include the formation des formateurs in a way. So when I say researchers, it doesn't mean researchers in a pure sense. It's of course professors, assistant professors, and so on. And so far, I don't know, Maria, how many we have? We had already 20 exchanges. Among them, I think it's about 10 are really professors or assistant professors who come to Europe spending time, and virtually the people from professors from or researchers from here went there and spent 1 week giving really high level lectures, and went not only lectures but also they went with software. For instance, for the grid, there are sophisticated softwares, so they bring their softwares from Norway and from Sener to Egypt and to Morocco. They spend 1 week in University of Akhawain, 1 week in University of Helwan, University in Egypt, and they had many attendees to follow this course 1 week. So it's really deep. Sorry.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
I know you from so we didn't face before. I know also that the project Eurostem at the beginning we were also assistant.
I know.
We were the members,
but you left.
Yeah, of course we did it because we were in another project and we were also involved in the same work packages. I think it's not fair then to try to be then with different partners in the same topics.
That's fine.
Thank you very much for what you explained. I have to say, I told also about this today morning. It's also very interesting to have you here because in some aspects we are, as a migrant partners here, a kind of competitors with Eurostem in regard to the capacity building and maybe to develop and to establish a master program, because it's also maybe one of the targets of the project. And then I have to say, of course, it's all the time it's the case. We could have, you spoke also of competition, and it will also in the case. But I have to say, in the last 2 years, because of the euphoria I spoke about it, especially for solar energy and the solar plan, a lot of universities started now then to develop masters. And we know also that in Morocco, in the field of engineering, we have a very good engineering schools. Now we have also a very good faculty also, as I said, and other engineering schools which are doing also very good work. And it's my opinion. As I said, in the last also then 3 years, we tried then to analyze where do we have needs, and we are, as I said, we notified that we have a lot of needs in regard to technicians, and we are starting now with IFMERES. But what is IFMERES? IFMERES, we will have buildings, and maybe equipment. We have now a grant. We will have then a donation from AFD. We will have some equipment, and then we have some stakeholders like FENELEC, FIM, ONE, Mazen, ONE, Mazen, and I think we need maybe there also capacity building. We need people who have expertise, definitely, because we will have a kind of le contenant, we need the contenu inside. The other point is also, this is what I noticed, we have a lot of lacks in regard to PhD students and also in regard to professors, because in the next 2, 3, 4 years, especially in Morocco, I don't know how is it in Tunisia, how is it in Egypt, but we will need a lot of new professors, and we need also PhD students. I have to say, because you said before, we have to analyze, and I think it's also the case for us, and also the case for you. It will be very interesting to analyze the other parts of the value chain, before and after the master, because I think we have enough. We will have enough, and I think it's very dangerous, because I personally, in my life or experience, I lived so I saw 2 kind of very difficult situations. One, it was on the international level. It was the internet boom, and a lot of colleagues we decided then to stop what they started, production engineering, mechanical engineering, to study in computer science, and at the end, because they thought it would be then, we will have a huge then demand, and at the end it was very difficult. And then on the regional level, I lived in Berlin, and after the reunification, a lot of people thought Berlin would be the new capital of Europe, and all the people started also to study architecture. And it was very difficult, because at the end it was not the case, and we had a lot of people without work. Yeah. And that's why, as I said, I think it's also the case, and then the last time, and also, as I said, in Morocco, that all the people are thinking, I have to study on solar energy, I have to study wind energy, wind power technologies. And I think it will be very interesting, it's my message, to think also about then the part of the value chain for the education and capacity building for the master, and also after the master. And there is it's my opinion, maybe more potential also for us, also for my day.
Thank you for all your contributions. I would like to address a specific question to the three, because I think it's interesting for me to know your experience about that, because I think this is one of the crucial points about the success of the educational actions we may do, is about the industrial partnership, or let's say the contact with industry. If I have understood properly, you have made in MedSpring the RERA, which is a tool that, my question for you, I address the 3 questions, if you accept this. My question for you is, I'm curious to know if Agora, which is a tool which is open, but of course the people can participate if they are interested in it. So I'm curious if some company has participated, because some companies of course have business
in MPC, that's very clear, and in Europe. So some companies may be interested in cooperating with MedSpring. And you have a nice tool for the communication with the social society. So I'm curious, so for the civil society. So I'm curious to know if some company has approached without your action through Agora. That's my question for you. My question for Bruno is, I know very well what you're doing. I also think that this action is very interesting for companies because I see the value of that. So again, it is the same. Some companies have approached you actively without your direct participation. And then finally, in your case, perhaps I'm not so sure if you're looking for the cooperation of the enterprises. You have shown that. You have shown that for sure. So then, I'm curious if you have made some active, or in your case as well, active actions to collaborate with industries to get in internships, and how this works. So then, I don't know. That's my question for the three of you.
Well, in our case, in MedSpring, we are not in charge of the work package of Agora, so I cannot give you exact numbers about how many companies, how many young researchers, how many project coordinators. We know that there are companies interacting without a direct action, because take into account that MedSpring partnership is quite wide. I mean, we have 28 partners all around the Mediterranean, so we disseminate our activities, so they are doing a very well job through the social networks. So in that case, it's been easier, I think, for companies. I cannot give you numbers. I think the number of researchers is higher than companies, but thanks to actions like, for example, this brokerage event that we organized in February, the possibility of putting together on a table two companies and young researchers, and not that young researchers, have been possible. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a bit revolutionary, this tool, because it's, as far as I know, it's the first time that a project like this is doing something like this among the INCO projects in FP7. So I think it's working. It's been working for 1 year and a half. So up to now, we are very happy with the results, coordinator and the commission as well. So I think we are on the good way, and let's see what happens in the coming future. I hope it develops more.
Thank you. Okay. So, okay, we're at the beginning of the process. You might have noticed within Pathways, we're experimenting with different things. For example, with how we interact with experts, really trying to think about what's the best way to reach the objective. The long-term objective is to have the maximum impact on the partners, of course. So the short answer is yes. We have had partners who have come back to us basically from the marketing effort. We tried both. We tried contacting partners directly. This is very, very long and very, very cumbersome, because you call someone, you have to find the right person. Generally, the right person, our first contact is whoever's in the innovation project, so it's a technical guy or woman. And they, if we're lucky, they send us to the human resources person who has a certain vision of the needs for positions, but it's not a complete vision. Then we have to talk to this person and convince them that it's useful. It's a very long and cumbersome process. For another company that we had that we're doing this with, you call, you set up a meeting. The guy says, "Oh, but I have to talk to the CEO." The CEO says, "Okay, let's do a meeting together." We schedule a meeting. No, the CEO is not available. This is what really has happened in real life. So if we try to go directly and call the companies and do one-on-one, trying to sell them fellowships, when in fact what we're selling them is money. It's kind of a strange situation. It's not the best paradigm. The good paradigm, the right paradigm, as far as we're concerned, is to come up with a good marketing campaign, to be able to really find what the motivating factors are for each of those types of companies. We've divided the potential partners into 4 categories. There's small SMEs and startups. which have a certain type of organization, certain types of motivation. We have medium companies and large enterprises who have a different one and different ways of interaction, different levers. We have research centers, and we have schools and universities, and we separate the two because they are different between research centers and so the idea is to present it in large, to talk to as many of them as possible, and then let them come to us. That's really the only way. So we have to be able to get them to find out a little bit about the program. They have to come to us with their needs, because if we have to contact 190 different partners and be lucky enough to find them at the right time when they're actually looking for an open position, it's really, really difficult. So I think it's really the other way around that works well.
Yes, as far as our activities are concerned, the link we have with the industries, besides those who are already involved in our project, for instance, is through the research centers. Each of the research centers we have, especially in Europe, are strongly linked to industries. I mean, CNR, for instance, Techniker, the CNRS, and so on. They are quite linked. So when a student, for instance, is coming for a training or something like that, so somehow, usually they have projects. These research centers have projects, and the student is in this project, and the project is somehow indirectly linked to the industry. And what will be the push is to make better contact between the company who is involved in the project and the students who is working on the project, which is not always the case. So this is for the North. I think it's quite easy. My concern is for the South. And I was very happy to see this book, which really made kind of clear, giving a clear view of who are the partners you might think of based on what you want to develop. And I just discussed with our colleague from Morocco, and he told me that something also exists in this, but maybe not structured in the same way. He will tell us more about that. But this is what is needed, a kind of, to have a detailed information about who is who and who is doing what, and what are the contacts and things like that. So from the North, because of the history, people are used to work and to deal with industries, although it's not perfect, of course, we all know that. But I think for the South, there is still a need. I'm pretty sure that there are plenty of very good companies in different countries in the South part, and I can see it with our colleagues from Egypt, but they are not that much known. So it should be more clarified and more identified, and we should have a kind of book which is helping the contact. That will be very perfect. Magrinov could help for that. No, I don't know what is. One of the objectives would be somehow the identification of these partners. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, first, I think that we have here a good overview of different kind of European project, and secondly, at the end of the day, we have to put in those projects some synergy. I think that also what is very interesting is that tools have been provided, both in MedSpring, developed, what Bruno has shown for pathways. So that is, there are also tools which can be very useful for a web interaction with our clients, I would say. Concerning the problem of how to construct master programs or PhD programs or technician programs, I think that clearly what Badra has said is really the strategic point. We should not think out, of what has been already done, what is constructed, what is. I think, there are already excellent persons everywhere, I would say. So it is important that we hear to industry. What you asked, that is more people with practical courses, put all the time the innovation chain, the training of trainees is also very important. But we have to construct together a consistent discourse, and I think it's really a challenge for not only Magrinov, but clearly also Magrinov is in between business and technology and business. That's our real focus.
To be a link.
Yeah.
Magrinov to be a link between industry and
yes, and clearly, well, unfortunately, what Bruno has presented is unbalanced, because as far as I understand, it is not possible to send or to have postdocs from Europe, for instance, working in southern companies. The reverse is possible. But this condition is for this type of project that maybe we can think of the reverse and have, for instance, in your cluster, similar possibilities, getting postdocs who can spend some time to learn the real conditions and make their project together with you. And I think that this can be a real development for Maghreb.
I'm thinking about if exists some evaluation of Erasmus Mundus Masters. I don't know if there exists some evaluation, because I think that the participation of students from the south is very minimum.
Yes.
And also, majority don't come back. And I think I have a question. It is good to construct one master for this project for Maghreb, or a network of good master, but not massive master. Because we have a problem of the perenization in our countries. Sometimes we have some students in Europe to do some master degrees. They come back or they not come back. But if you help some countries to construct good master with mobilities, with some professor, I think it's more efficient in long term.
Yes, but this is exactly the model.
Yes.
Indeed, I mean, again, the masters will exist at different places. It's just a kind of added value. What is missing in the Mr. before talked about her master. You will have your master. It's very good master, nothing. But maybe there is something that maybe you are looking for an added value somewhere, and where this added value can be taken. Maybe from Europe, maybe from Egypt. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to Europe. You have to think globally, not north south immediately. I mean, automatically it would be south south. I mean, this is my way of thinking. You have to take the competences where they are.
Yes.
We don't need to. There's no complex of north or south. It's just to make it as efficient as possible. But somebody has to make this link. If it doesn't exist, you will not make it. This is the only thing. Is how to facilitate such kind of networking and make it clear and visible for the students and showing them the added value. That's it. The rest is. But just one comment. I don't think that we have indeed. Maybe I misunderstood you, but I don't think that we have enough master degrees or students in renewable energies. We need a lot. We need more than we have now. No, I'm sure, because the fields we are talking about maybe are more than only making materials or making cells. We need people in managing the energy, in plenty of open business and open.
You know, the problem is when we started also now with specific real projects. we hired some people who are then already then master on renewable energy. But we noticed we need also then people who are then experts in thermodynamics, in electrical systems, and that's the point.
There's not a contradiction. I mean, we can have very good people in thermodynamics and very good people in. There's no contradiction between.
But you don't need only then to study or to study a master on renewable energy. And for me, it would be then enough if I have a good experts on thermodynamics, on electrical system, on mechanical engineering. That's the point. And excuse me, that's why you said also that we have then to identify. We have then to identify what we have. And now we received a lot of information from a lot of universities, which are now starting with master programs. And the idea was only then to say, we have then to check, because for me, now we definitely don't have enough expertise for technicians.
Sure.
What's about this topic? What's about, for example, also then the researchers and PhD students? We don't have enough. And that's why, as I told you, when we have the opportunity, maybe then jointly then to work together, we have then to think about the complementarity and also about those parts of the value chain in which we have needs.
You mean that you don't want to have generalists, you want specialized masters. This is because I mean
no, I said only we don't need to have a lot of masters for renewable energy.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything. I mean, renewable energy is different topics. It's completely, I mean, the guy who is in charge of CSP, for instance, has nothing to do with photovoltaics, has nothing to do with the grid. Will have nothing to do with something else.
Yeah, so definitely, but I don't need them to have only assistant people, assistant or assistant students who have a master on CSP.
Why not?
That's the point.
Why not? It's very important if you want to really have a very good skill and making the system better and better. You need some people who knows exactly what are the bottlenecks and how to make it better.
I agree if I have a market. I agree with you if I have.
But if we don't have a market, we don't need master degrees at all.
Yeah, and do you think we have already a market for?
No, but we have to build it. Otherwise, I mean, it's like.
It's the big question. And I know, for example, we have now enough money to finance the 4 assistant first projects in Warzazat.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have any guarantee that we will follow with CSP.
Okay,
and maybe we will stop and then we will have then PV. And that's the question. As I said, it means
another problem.
This need approach.
This is the long view.
It was only
this politics. I'm not
to say. It was only to say.
I agree on the principle.
We said today morning. We said we have sometimes to adapt, and it has to be a need approach, not only an offer. Not only an offer, because that's why I said I used this word euphoria, because we had then this euphoria and all the people told, oh yeah, 9 billion, 3 billion, but we don't have this money. So then we have then to find then this money and then to finance all those projects. And that's why, as I said, we have then, and I understood you, so you said we have then to analyze, and you said we have then to see if we have a need. I said only, you have maybe then to think a little bit then larger, and we have to think also then a little bit then larger, and not only to think about a master, but how is it about then the other important parts of the value chain.
You're right, indeed. I'm talking about only about master, but you're right, completely right.
And then it will be an opportunity.
In Morocco, we need more technicians than master degrees. I do agree with you, but this is.
And then maybe also to think about then the complementarity, because as you said, we have then to collaborate then together. It makes sense because both projects are financed by the European Union, and then to think about the different parts of the value chain for capacity building. Yeah.
I would like to come back to one point which is also very important, which was raised by Mr. Benuna. So it's the problem of the brain drain. So it's clear that it's very easy for northern companies to take the best candidates from South and pay them, and that's it. So, happily, the life in North Africa is nice, and sometimes. So, I think that we can think also of process on the flux of students, of postdocs, and so. For instance, we can think of agreement between industrialists from the south and the industrialists from the north, or startups that we can think to develop together. For sending somebody specific to the north, of course, it's the rule of pathways of this Marie Curie scheme that the candidate defined himself or herself the project. It's very important. But we can have some agreement, you see, to control the flux and make an interest also for the return. For instance, the candidate can be recruited in a company in the south, or become have a position at university or research center, whatever. So, but you see, I think it's important that we think about the fluxes, and well, the instrument is not perfect at the moment, but for us it's important to think about that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we don't just want to have a south-north flow.
Following what you just said, it's a question for Magrenov. People, is there any forum foreseen between just the industry partners? I mean, not industry partners, but I mean, offering the possibility of the industry partners to meet somewhere?
We will organize at the end of this year a meeting in Casablanca.
You did already?
No, we wait.
No, you will.
Yeah.
So this is exactly. So maybe then the question could be put arise at this meeting, saying, okay, it's good that we meet, but is it can we think about exchanging engineers, technicians, to which extent what can be possible? I think this could be a very, very strong added value for the
I think
the project as such.
We can just start with a few examples.
Exactly.
Good examples.
Definitely.
Give the chance.
Yeah. Just to start the engine. Yes. I have just one question for you. So when I understood, 40% will be covered by the project, but about 60% was.
So the 60% has to come from anything but an EU source, essentially. So it's either the host's, the partner's own investment, or from a regional program, or from some non-European program. University,
research center.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anything.
It's not that easy.
No, it's not. So that's why the bottleneck for Pathways is finding the partners who have a real position to offer. But this is also important for the success of the objectives of the program, I think, because if we were just to offer 40 plus 60%, then it's just easy to hire lots of people and fill up rooms and build up some managers' quotas on something, and not actually do any real work, and not actually make them progress in the direction that we want them to progress. So it has to be a real position, as it's one of the keys for success for the program, I think.
Just to add one thing concerning what you have said, the possibility of some postdocs to go to outside Europe and the benefit of money. This is possible for postdocs to go from here to a research center somewhere. Whatever, in the United States, in Japan, with the condition to come back with a knowledge to Europe. Does it exist? And it's next week I'm in Brussels the whole week and evaluating a lot of this such kind of projects.
Yes, but it's individual project.
Yes, it's individual.
Here we have the scheme which is collective. And,
sure, but if the point, what is missing, just to go in your direction, what is missing is that the same thing should. I mean, if it's Europe can offer also the same, but that somebody from here goes to an industry somewhere in the south, and also then having learning things there, maybe bringing some information that can be helpful for a research center or a company, and then a kind of training, but in an industry, not in a research center. That will be a good point that we have to push the European Commission to fund that.
That's a very good example, Mr. Ernest, who did that. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask about what you mean by the creation of the associated international lab. Did you mean the link between two existing labs or the creation of new labs?
No, actually, when it comes to associated international labs, it's two labs. Each one stays at its place, but they are sharing research topics, personnel. I mean, University of Mohammed VI, they have some of those. And then the people can go from this, or when they publish with the name of the two labs. So it's really a kind of a lab without walls somehow.
And what's the difference between this proposition and the existing cooperation between two labs?
Oh, you got funding. You got funding from the let's say University of Mohammed VI and CNRS. University of Mohammed VI is putting some money, and CNRS are putting some money, and then this money is used to really make this exchange of students, buying equipment. So it's real. It's like a lab receiving money, but from the two institutions. So it's recognized somehow as a top-level research activity.
And how can we manage this funding?
Oh, it's easy. It's when it's this, it's what we call the PIs, the project investigators from the two labs who are in charge of the managing the money and the people. It's very simple.
Yeah. Other thing I would like to come back to the idea of Badr. I agree with him about. Okay, I agree with you. We need a lot of master's degree in renewable energy, but we should to look for the existing master programs and to see what's the class that we can add. Is it a question of marketing at the national Europe made a master degree, or is it answer to a need of the job market?
And I mean, making a survey. This is, of the existing and which specificity of each one. This is very important. We started doing that, and we will continue. Again, we are not in hurry. If it really doesn't have any added value, we will justify why, because there are also plenty of it. If there is a real added value, we will go for it. There's no, we have plenty of things to do.
No more questions? Thank you. I think that we can appreciate the participation of the panelists.